Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. If you're looking for undervalued investment opportunities, click subscribe. I go over a lot of technical analysis. That's how I find my companies. I look at the technicals, I find the company, and then I do some fundamental analysis. The fundamental analysis is how much do the insiders own? What do the earnings look like? How much cash do they have? Do they have to dilute shares more? Do they need more debt? Do they have access to debt? And again, the fundamental analysis I find is a little bit more difficult than the technical analysis because in commodity companies at the bottoms, their fundamentals look absolutely horrible. So you're really taking kind of a gamble on the price. The price is the biggest mover of any commodity. It has the largest effect to their balance sheets. Remember, they don't control the price of what they sell. And their balance sheets could change dramatically with a price move of 30 or 40 or 50% higher. And we've seen a lot of really big moves, oil, copper, in very short periods of time. So their balance sheets fluctuate so dramatically that it's very hard to get a good fundamental grasp on what the company would be valued. So what you're really doing is you're looking at the fundamentals. If you're going to do a net present value calculation, you're really going to have to look at, well, what if copper was 50% higher? Or what would copper be like if it was 100% higher? And people are like, it's not going to go up 100%. And there's your risk and there's your speculation. You're speculating on the price moves of the underlying commodity. And some of these net present values, they go absolutely ridiculously high when the price moves 30, 40, 100% higher. So you could calculate it and say that the fundamental value of this company is garbage right now. But if it moves up 40, 50%, it's an all-star company and it's got gigantic margins. It's a pretty ridiculous doing some of the fundamental analysis on this stuff. So I look at the technicals. I try looking at some of the chart patterns and getting a little bit better outlook and speculating more on the price and using the companies as vehicles for a leverage move to the price because their fundamentals change so rapidly given the price moves. So let's jump in. I call this copper and other metals. And again, this is just financial education. It's not advice. So here we go. It's my opinion. So here's COPX. We have broken to the downside. I see a head, shoulder, which looks like it's complete. Now, you got to be careful here because from my years of experience, what happens is usually you kind of break down and it wants to base out. You'll break down, this will come up, and it might roll over and do like a basing pattern for a little while. So I don't think we're just going to go straight higher. I think we're going to consolidate for a little while, and it may take weeks or months. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. That's my paradigm. This is how I'm viewing these things. The momentum has changed from an uptrend to a broken uptrend, and I think we're going to move sideways for a little bit. How long? I'm not exactly sure. It's difficult to figure this stuff out on a very short-term basis. Southern Copper is the same way. This kind of looks like a topping pattern, and I think we're going to come on up, and we might roll over and actually come down a little bit further. So I'm being patient here. And if you guys are long-term investors, every time it turns, you could buy into this little strength here and just cost average in a teeny bit of money. But I don't know if this is over yet. I still think that we're going to come up and kind of roll over for a little bit longer. Same with Glencore. We broke this uptrend. I think the momentum's kind of broken for a little bit. We may come up and roll over a little bit and then kind of base out for a little while. But again, I could be wrong. Reading the very short-term movements is a lot more difficult and getting it right than what most people think. And that's why day traders, they get this stuff wrong all the time. On a big picture view, copper is an excellent investment opportunity. So now Copper Bank doesn't look too bad. I like the reversal day here. If it ended up, I did it kind of 2:15 p.m. But I still think we've got a little bit more downside before turning higher. I think we're going to either go sideways or down a little bit more before going up. Here's NGEX. This guy's got a very strong uptrend. It seems like it hasn't really been too bad to the downside. I do like this company quite a bit if you want a junior copper company. Again, I don't put as much money in them, but I do like NGEX. I think they're a decent company. I think it's a good, solid company. And they're very undervalued. Ivanhoe Mines. Now, Ivanhoe doesn't look too bad. I mean, even right here, nice, good bullish kind of engulfing, nice reversal day. You got wicks on the bottom before it. Sprinkling a little bit of money in here, I don't think would be a horrible idea. Could this come back down a little bit more? Maybe. And that's why I take a cost average approach and go very slow. Copper Mountain, this does look like it wants to head back up. Nice big bullish engulfing. Now, is it going to come and come above this trend line, or is it going to come back up and roll back over? Difficult to say. And that's why I don't trade in and out of these. I'm not a trader at heart. I'm an investor. I'm going to back out and give you guys another view on a big picture view. This has had a monster run. And when you break its trend line, I think it's going to take some time to come back and base out a little bit. So I would be patient. You guys can do what you want. I'm a patient guy, and if I owned a bunch of Copper Mountain, I wouldn't do anything. I'd just hold on. But I don't know if I'd add right here, because this is a monster move higher. And I think it's going to take some time to consolidate for a while. Nova Royalties had some time to consolidate. I think we are getting close to, well, hopefully a bottom. We got a nice hammer pattern here. Again, very short-term movements are very hard to predict. But I am biased. I like Nova. I like the CEO, and I like what they're doing there. They're going after big mines. They're trying to get royalties on them. They're adding royalties to their portfolio, and I think if they continue with that strategy, I think it's a good, smart strategy for owning copper and nickel royalties. Now I'm going to switch a little bit of gears. We're going to look at the rare earth strategic metals. We are in this pattern that's developing. We're right at the support line. It's up to you if you guys want to add, but if I'm adding, I'd add on this break, this touch of the support line. It could break to the downside, but as of right now, we're contracting. The opening and closing prices are contracting. The buyers are equaling the sellers, and to me, it looks like we're going to stay in this pattern. We could have a little bit more sell-off, like we've got kind of this swoop up, over, coming down. I'm just trying to think. I think we're going to move right into the corner of this guy out here and then break maybe in a half month, something like that. Appiah Energy, another rare earth metal, broke to the upside, coming back, and this looks like a nice potential reversal day to move on up a little bit on the short term. Would I buy right here? Maybe a little bit, but I mean, that's up to you. I already own it, and I'm just holding on. MP Materials, I think we're still going to have a little bit longer time to move sideways, but it's looking good. It's looking better and better over time. The buyers are starting to step in here. Alphamin Resources is a tin mining company coming on up. You can draw. We broke the uptrend line. I think we're going to have some time to consolidate for a little while. So we might have a little bit better buying opportunity. But again, if you guys are investors and you're looking at this from a long-term perspective, it's okay to leak money in where you feel comfortable and just buy in stuff very slowly. Now, Norilsk Nickel looks like it's putting in a bullish engulfing pattern here. Diversified mining company. Coming on up, we've got kind of a reversed shoulder head and then a mutated shoulder that's developing here. And maybe we see this thing break to the upside soon. This is a nickel copper PGM metal company. I like it a lot, a Russian one. Now, BHP Group, we broke to the downside of this little pattern here. We have some good momentum. I don't think this is going to last to the upside. I think we are going to kind of have to base out a little bit. I think there's some further pullback or sideways motion before moving higher. In South 32, we broke its uptrend line. Again, when we break the uptrend line, a lot of these things, they come back up, they kind of hit this trend line again and then roll back over. And remember, when we break trend lines, we do a retest. I think we are retesting on the opposite side here for a potential sideways movement to a slight pullback movement for a little while. So it's up to you on what you want to do. I can't give advice, but I do like copper on a big long-term perspective. Copper's going to crush it, I think. On the short term, I think we've got some consolidation, pullback type stuff to go on. I don't think this is just going to turn and go higher. If we were above all of our trend lines, if we were momentum to the upside, but we've broke that momentum. The momentum's to the downside now, and we got to work that momentum off. If you guys like the presentation, please give me a thumbs up. Leave any comments if you guys have any comments or questions. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.